Welcome in, everybody, to the TDA Postgame Show. You're on live with Justin Riley from the Bama Standard and National Champion winning wide receiver from Alabama, Mike McCoy.
What's
Listen,
up,
I'm not going to sit
guys?
here. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all the formalities. Listen, I'm pissed off, Mike. I know before we got on, you're telling me this is something you expected, and I gotta be honest with you, I didn't expect this at all, and I bought into the hype of revenge game. We're going to defend our coach. We're going to defend that L we took last year. Man, it didn't look like a revenge game to me. It looked like we were trying to give the farm away. I don't know about you, man. I mean, you played the game, so you're able to see things I don't see, and I'm just one of those disgruntled fans who is ungrateful. But
Nah, man, I told you, I knew it. I felt it in my spirit. I told everybody, man, this wasn't gonna be a cakewalk, and the reason being, is you have a dominant quarterback, but you have two type of players. Like I said, Steph Curry is Bryce. Then you got Giannis. I'm telling you, two completely. Now that was a true test to see if O'Reilly, what you gonna do with the strength of your quarterback, and we didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm interested to see what everybody got to say today, man.
I'm waiting for the people to jump in the chat. And by the way, I will say our intro is pretty nice. But
It
I'm
is. It was
watching this whole
hard.
game, and I thought, for sure, coming into this game that Bill O'Brien was going to spend an entire week with Jalen, who had time with the ones, was able to acclimate, to playing with those guys, and that this week we'd see a more polished Jalen Milroe. So,
Hmm.
was I expecting a Bryce type performance? No, not by any means. But I didn't expect what we saw tonight in terms of, okay, I give it to Jalen. He fumbled the ball twice, but the play calling was horrendous. First of all, you were putting Jalen in positions he wasn't comfortable with. It didn't fit his skill set. You got him dropping back, trying to hit the home run ball instead of hitting the short intermediate routes, the hot routes, crossing routes, something within his range. And Mike, the receivers were open on those routes, but we weren't going that direction. Also, too, we're running the ball. We're doing what we did last week very successfully. And then what's Bill O'Brien do? Oh, we're going to stop and we're going to launch it deep. Oh, but we didn't launch it deep because we took a sack 15 yards. Help me understand the philosophy behind Bill O'Brien's play calling tonight, because it makes about as much sense as a snooze button on a fire alarm.
Well, like I said, man, I don't know the logic behind it, but I can tell you what it looked like was we're gonna try and do the same thing that we did last week, and as if I mean, I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words, but like I said, I knew it was gonna happen, and because he's not. You got to be creative, man. You got to be in your bag with this quarterback, and I don't think like you said, his confidence is everything, and I don't feel like he was confident in any throws that he made, except for the short ones, and that's how you got to do, man. Is you give him a layup, give him a couple layups, man, and then you take a jump shot, then you go for a fast break, you get a dunk. It's levels to this, and I think, man, this may be too big for him. Like in NFL, it's not a huge standard on winning. Look at the Cleveland Browns, look at the Jaguars. It's a different culture, man. This is the SEC. These folks will show up at your house, Bill. Bob, you better get it together, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, shout out to Jameer Gibbs. The man carried the offense on his back all night to the
Yes,
point to where he had to go to the medical tent just because his body was being beaten and bruised so much that he had to take a break.
that was nice, man. Ooh, that jump cut in the first half. Oh my
Woo! Had one in
God.
the
Oh
second
my
half too,
God.
man, before we turned the ball over. But
Yeah.
man, that's like, man, that defender has a family, bro. You used to embarrass him like that on national television.
Yeah, he's special, man. I would have, I would have kudos to him. Oh my God, I'm just looking back at it, man. It was so many opportunities to take over the game, but we never did. We never did. We gave him a chance, and we were on pins and needles and sweet baby Jesus a whole lot right
Huh.
at that last play,
Listen, man, I'm going to church tomorrow because of some things I was saying. Uh, I just, I just couldn't believe what was in front of my eyes, and I thought that A&M would come in and kind of hit us in the mouth, but I felt like at some point we're going to make them go away. Eventually, Bama ball would take over, but
what is Bama ball? We
well,
done
that's the
had one
question.
good
What's our
game.
identity?
We
What do
ain't
we
got one.
do?
We ain't got one. I mean, we making penalties. I mean, mistakes. I mean, bro, still penalties. Still look undisciplined. We still not clicking on all cylinders. I don't know what it is. So we can't say the Bama way. We don't know what that look like this year. Thank God for the defense, though. Thank
No,
God for
no
them.
kidding. Listen, I don't think anything really needs to be touched on regarding the defense except to give them, praise.
Yeah,
That's
they
pretty
did what
much
they
it.
had to do.
Defensive line balled out, linebackers balled out. Even Henry To'oTo'o did well. Will Anderson had those near misses. He has 7 quarterback pressures. Man,
Oh my
if he'd
God.
only connected on a couple of those, my gosh! But they were called on time and time again to bail us out, and they answered the bell nearly every time. They gave up those 2 touchdowns, but of course they were put in crazy positions, and when you're in positions like that, at some point,
All
yeah,
off turnovers.
that at some point that tight squeeze we had on them was eventually going to loosen, and it did. But yeah, without those turnovers, I honestly don't believe Texas A&M scores.
No, I mean, I think they would have got those 2 field goals. Those pretty much what I was expecting. But when I saw 'em, I said, "Hey, man, Jimbo and Saban, they got blood, and Jimbo got some balls on him. Going on 4th down twice. Come on, man. He got some balls on him, man.
Well, he
So
didn't feel like that we could do anything to stop it. I mean, can you blame him?
we could, Jid. I mean, I think the secondary was tested, especially the right, number 3, the
Terry and
right
Arnold.
corner. Yeah, I think he got his. I'm not gonna say exposed, but I think they gonna try him more than anything, man. I think that they found a a chink in our armor, so to
Yeah.
speak. But
Well, I will say the only time I really felt like that he was out of position or he got beat was one time. Other than that, he was pretty solid. Kool-Aid was solid. DeMarco was solid. So was Jordan Battle. But I don't think that the secondary really gave me any kind of sign of concern tonight. They did well.
shit, them holding plays. I mean, shit. That's why we were in the predicament we in. Hey,
But some of
it's a
them,
couple.
man, some of them, they were little ticky
Man,
tacky things, man. Come on
nah,
now.
man. That was
But
a
hey,
whole.
A&M
It
got
is
away with
they.
a lot of missed calls too. Got some WWE moves on Chris Braswell, taking him down the
Man,
turf right in front of a referee. Doesn't see it. Jermaine Burton gets flagged um, for that hit he put on the defender out of
but
bounds after he
you
got punched twice.
exactly is they always see the second person, man. You know that's common sense. That's being selfish.
I got you.
But I think, but the secondary they gave up a couple. They was targeting up there. It was a couple of plays made down on that side over there. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to that area, but
Mm, I
well,
got
I
you.
try to give the DBs a hard time, but A&M, man, that kid, Musa Muhammad's son,
Yeah,
the
Moose
third,
Muhammad.
that
Yeah,
boy,
he's
he is
legit.
like that. He
When he
is
climbed
like
that
that.
ladder a couple of times, jeez, I'm like, I want to be pissed off right now, but as a football fan, that was a thing of beauty.
Man, tough, man. But
But
nah, Bama got to definitely tighten up. Our offense was butt cheeks tonight, man. Butt
well,
cheeks.
speaking of secondary, I figured tonight we bring on somebody that is a leading authority on it, and we have a man in the building. He was all SEC defensive back in 2002 to 2005. Also played for the Packers for a good while in the NFL. Got him a little Super Bowl ring, and also led the team in tackles in the Super Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking of no other than Charlie Peprah. What's going on, brother?
Man, what's good? How we doing tonight?
What's
Well,
going on,
we
superstar?
we won, brother, but my anxiety is still coming down.
Yeah, that was a close one, man. They tried to give that one away, man. Too many mistakes, not a clean game, too many turnovers. But hey, you got to win all. You got to be able to win all types of games. You know, if you're a great team, and regardless of what happened, the first 3.5 quarters, they found a way to win it in the end. So that's all that matters.
No, yeah, you're right on that respect. We found a way to win ugly, and as long as we come away with it, that's great. But going into Tennessee, we wanted to feel a little bit more comfort, as we're going against arguably the nation's top passer and one of the most explosive offenses. And in order to do that, we got to feel comfortable in our offense, be able to go tit for tat with them. But I wanted to ask you, what questions did you have about the team going into this game? Because we all, for the most part, wrote Texas A&M off. We could all say we were guilty of thinking this was going to be like a homecoming game and that we were going to be able to pick our score. Did you feel that way at all, or did you have some concerns or questions going in?
I kind of felt, Bama would have won more handedly. And granted, they probably would if they hadn't turned the ball over 4 times. I was expecting, I figured their game plan would be try to go up early, knowing A&M struggles to kind of generally put up points. And they were back, they were beat up at quarterback as well, too. So, I thought they would come in, get up early, and just kind of go downhill from there. But, they come in and lose 3 fumbles, throw an interception. And, that's tough. That's tough to pull away when you do that. But granted, 4 turnovers and they still, were leading most of the game. And, so there's something to that as well. And the defense stepped up and, even though it looked like it was going to be a long game after they capitalized, 2 touchdowns or those first 2 turnovers, they were able to hold them to field goals moving forward and some of those turnovers. So, the defense, I think, stepped up, even though the offense put them on short field a few times. But, yeah, you got to play a cleaner game. You got to be better than that. You almost allowed a lesser team to steal one from you at home. You can't do that, but at the end of the day, a win is a win is a win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, Mike and I were talking about the secondary before you jumped on. Have you had a chance to really look at Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid up until this point in the season?
No.
And if so, I was going to get your thoughts on their progression this year.
I haven't got to sit down and watch a lot of Bama games all the way through. This was the first one I could watch from start to finish. I saw the Texas game, though, a little bit of Utah State, but I missed the other, 2 games. But I thought as a whole, the secondary tackled well. They gave up some they pretty much played. They didn't give up a lot of big plays, but, I thought they tackled the catch well. And they didn't allow to get, let the ball get behind them, even though they didn't take too many shots. But when they did, I thought they played the deep ball well. I thought they tackled well, and they came up when it mattered at the end. And I think they're all. I like all those guys are aggressive. They play the run well and the pass. So he's got a good group of DBs from this game that I saw.
Absolutely. And, speaking of the DBs like Brian Branch and Terrion and Kool-Aid, I really liked this game in particular was they tackled well in space. And especially from behind the line, there were some key plays that we tackled Devin A-Chain for a loss. And, how we missed those plays. With that speed of his, man, he was going to have nothing but green ahead of him. But, great, well-disciplined tackling in the backfield. So, got to give them props for that.
Yeah, they wrapped up well. They didn't let too many yards after contact go. And you can win when you keep everything in front and you tackle well. You can win games like that.
No doubt. Well, folks, I know that y'all are interested, are ready and willing to get on the phone lines and give us your thoughts. And we already got some folks ready to talk. I got to remind everybody, if you would, when you call, state your name, where you're calling from. Say what you have to say, then hang up and listen, because unfortunately you will not be able to hear Charlie or Mike over the phone. You can only hear them through YouTube. So if you keep that in mind, we're going to have a good time. Let's go ahead and start letting folks in. Welcome to the show. Thanks for calling on a crazy night, revenge game night. You're on live with Justin Riley, Mike McCoy, and Charlie Peprah. If you would, tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and what you want to talk about.
Jordan in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
What's going on, Jordan? I know after seeing this game tonight, you're probably licking your chops being a Tennessee fan. So I know you probably got a more of a level of comfort than we do right now, but hopefully we have Bryce back this week. But go ahead.
Well, that's what I was saying. What's the stats on Bryce Young?
From what
that's a really big question.
Yeah, I got you. You know that's still up in the air. All the suggestions coming out are pointing towards him playing next week, but we don't have any solid confirmation. He was a game time decision today. I honestly felt like he wasn't going to play. And I honestly didn't feel like we needed him, but I think we're all a little proven wrong in that regard. But hey.
But hey, guess what? This means that for the first time since 1989, both Tennessee and Alabama will be undefeated when they play each other.
It goes back that far? Wow.
And yes, and since 1970, it's only happened twice, 1989 and 1973. So the problem is that neither team is good at the same time. It's usually Alabama's good and then Tennessee's down, and Tennessee's doing good and Alabama's down. See, with me being a Tennessee fan and my wife being a Bammer, so you can imagine how fun that's going to be next week. But I'll tell you what, either way, it's going to be a great game. I mean, really, we're one of the few teams that has to play you guys and Georgia. And that's the thing, people came into me saying, oh, y'all are going to struggle against LSU. And I was telling them, I was like, no, we're going to handle business. And we did. And, now with, it sucks kind of how y'all's game went today. I was thinking y'all would have beat them by 50.
That's what we intended to happen, but doesn't exactly work out that way. So here we are.
Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I seen A.J. McCarron. He said something on Twitter about that. He had some kind of injury like that, and I think he said he healed up in like a week. I think. Some kind of injury is like what Bryce got.
I believe I saw that too, and yeah, it's something that's fairly routine. And with the medical advances we have right now, I got no doubt that Bryce will be ready to go by next week. So hopefully we'll have that showdown we're all eagerly anticipating.
Yes, Tennessee fans and Alabama fans both.
No doubt.
Which is how it should be. And again, I said it to the other gentleman that normally I call into. Maybe y'all could tell them to do this. I've been saying this for years. And to me, this is how they should do when they play each other.
I agree with you. Well, we definitely
Go
ahead.
Sorry, my wife was talking to me. Anyways, so basically what they should do is Alabama wears the crimson and Tennessee wears the orange. I just think that would look so cool. They used to do that for decades, but then they stopped doing it for some reason.
I got you. Yeah, I'd love to see that too. Hey, I'm just excited that we kind of reverting back to the way things used to be and have a top five or possibly top five matchup with both teams. It's good for college football.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. We appreciate your call. We got some other folks that are waiting to call in, but we'll definitely keep our eyes on next week's game. You have a good night, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Y'all have a good night.
Take it easy.
We had a Tennessee fan get through in the very first call, fellas.
Roll Tide.
Well, we got somebody else on the line. Let me go ahead and let them in. I know folks are ready to talk. You are on live, the TDA Postgame Show with Justin Riley, Mike McCoy, and Charlie Peprah. If you would, state your name, where you're calling from. Tell us what you want to talk about.
Mike from Chicago.
What's going on, Mike?
Chicago. A couple of things. first thing, I think we're going to be number 3 come Sunday. Ohio State played well. Georgia played well. I think they're going to drop them to 3. Hope not, but I think so. I just don't understand the play calling either from the offense coach Brian. If you're going to run the jet motion, can you at least give it to him one time to keep an honest? That the jet motion screen where you fake, and then the one that number 3 caught. One time. It's like everything is deep downfield, no option routes. Mike talked about this before. Again, good thing the defense came through. Good thing we got Pete Golden coaching, right? Everybody's Pete Golden bashing. I think he earned his money today. But good win, roll tide.
Roll tide.
Roll tide, roll.
Glad to have some Bama fans get back into the mix of things. But guys, as Tennessee looms, how excited are you about this matchup? Are you excited yet? And what do we need to do? I know there's probably a list of things you can spout out, but Mike, I'll go ahead and let you get started on that. How are you feeling about Tennessee?
It's going to be a dogfight, man. It's going to be another close one. Unless we get Bryce back. I know everybody's talking to AC. Well, I had the same thing, man, when I dove for a pass and went in and they went to go clean my AC joint and my labrum was actually torn. I don't think that's something that you can just bounce back from, And me being a strength coach, I saw kind of how the injury was, man. It's the reason why you didn't see him out there warming up, throwing that ball now. Saban ain't no fool now. So that needs to be put into consideration. Now, moving forward, if we want to beat a team like Tennessee, man, you got to put a kid like that. You got to give him confidence by allowing him to make decisions, man. Run a hurry-up offense. Run a quick RPO with him. And then when you do, you slow the ball up and let him blow the top off. But I think we were doing things where he's not traditional. You making the guy be who he's not. Yeah. Again, we got a Steph Curry, but right now we got Giannis. We got somebody who's a superstar, but you got to play with his strengths. We don't see Giannis taking no mid-range jumpers. We see him either catching a big shot or he coming downhill, finishing at the rim. And that's how we got to execute with this kid.
I got you. Well, Charlie, what's your thoughts on that? Tennessee is looming. Do you feel confident, or what do we need to do?
No, I feel confident. I don't think fans should let this game be too big of a concern. You had Milrose, the backup quarterback, in, and kind of to touch on the other caller's point, they're going to run plays that fit Milrose. So they're not going to run all the same package plays that they had with Bryce Young. He wants to see the jet motion screen, all that. Milrose might not be able to run those plays efficiently and effectively. You never know. And also what the defense is giving them, might not call for that. But I don't think this game is indicative of who the Tide is, just from the little bit that I've seen. Again, it's a totally different game if you don't turn the ball over 4 times. Right.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a totally different game. But with that said, those turnovers were caused. They didn't protect the football. Their defense got it out. And for some reason, if Bryce Young is not able to play next week, those have to be corrected. Because you know what I mean? I'm confident. I'm confident it's gonna be a great game. It's good to see Tennessee back on top. It's hard for me to say that as a Bama fan, but it's good for football. It's good for college football. It's good for the SEC. They got a lot of weapons. But at the end of the day, I can't bet against Saban and the defense and just the way that they know how to win games, all types of games.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But we got another caller who is waiting on the line. I'm going to go ahead and let him in, or him or her. Hey, you on live with Justin Riley, Mike McCoy, and Charlie Peprah. If you would, state your name, where you're calling from, and tell us what you're thinking.
Hey, guys, this is Mattress Matt from Mobile.
What's going on, brother?
I'm a regular caller on Steven's show. I was really upset about tonight, but I just want to, congratulate the players for bailing Bill O'Brien out once again. We cannot depend on our players to continuously bail him out. And I'm a coach's guy. Let me tell you, I'm all about discipline, putting authority where it belongs, doing what the coaches say, fulfilling the job duties that you have. I'm all about that. But there also comes a time where you have to, do an inventory. I'm a businessman. You have to do an inventory. You have to realize what you're lacking, and you have to fix it. And Bill O'Brien is a cancer to this team. Jalen Milroe was not the problem of him fumbling that ball. The problem. You got to understand what the root of the problem is first. Why was Jalen Milroe put in those positions? It's because Bill O'Brien has an archaic offensive system from the 1970s. This is not the Joe Montana days. If we had Steve Sarkisian in there calling plays tonight, you think this would have happened? 100% no. So why does the biggest program in college football history hire a failed manager, not even an offensive play caller? He hadn't called offensive plays in I don't know how long. He's a failed manager. He wasn't even a coach of the Houston Texans, okay? Yeah, I know he coached back in the day, but the guy is basically as good as in the grave. I mean, he has no creativity. He has no brain. He doesn't understand misdirection. He doesn't understand shifting. He doesn't understand. He has no creativity. If he was a chess player, he wouldn't even make it past the first round. Let me tell you, the core disease of the problem that we have is Bill O'Brien. I'm telling you. And look, we got the best defensive players in the country. Pete Golding, he's getting bailed out too. Why Alabama is hiring these people, I have no idea. Lane Kiffin's got a 29-year-old calling the offensive plays. You know why? Because he's brilliant and he's creative. Mm-hmm. What are we doing rehabbing? Alabama doesn't need to be a rehab for coaches. We get lucky because we get the best players, but we need to recognize this problem. I think we would have better chances of winning the national championship this year if we brought a brand new offensive play caller in and him brought his playbook and taught our players these plays rather than continuing to grow the cancer. I just don't understand the logic to avoid and ignore this problem. I think it needs to be addressed. I think it needs to be addressed now because it's going to cost us the season. The SEC is too fast. Tennessee is too fast. Bill O'Brien likes tall and slow. If you look at his favorite guys and you listed them from 1 to 10, their 40 times are slowest to fastest. His least favorite player, who happens to be Jalen Milroe's favorite receiver, Christian Leary, he won't even put him out there. And Christian Leary's faster than Kobe Prentice. Give some of these fast guys the ball, send out a blocker, and let our speed do what it does. Don't drop the quarterback back like a sitting duck. They're just dropping him back like a sitting duck. I mean, I don't understand this archaic. This is ancient. This is not who we need in the SEC calling our offensive plays. Come on, somebody. Put Christian Leary in there. What the heck? He's a sophomore. And you're putting these freshmen in there who don't even know the system. Christian Leary's paid his dues, and he's even faster. And he never misses a pass. You saw him in the A-Day game. And he's sitting there on the sideline, and we're about to transfer our best player. He could go in. He could play running back. He could play wildcat. He could be receiver. Christian Leary can do everything. And we're sitting him on the sideline and going to let him transfer through the transfer portal. While we bring in these brand new guys, which is a slap in the face to the new guys that's paid their dues.
Couldn't agree more. I think
I'm sorry with my tone. If y'all don't like my tone,
no, you're good.
You gotta admit that I'm right.
I'm
right
you are
on all this.
Oh, you're absolutely right. you can't hear the other guys, unfortunately. So if you would, hang up and listen. We'll definitely give you the answers.
Okay.
We're going to give you an amen to all that. Trust me. Trust me. But thank you for the call, brother. We really appreciate you calling in. Yeah, fellas. Who wants to pick that up? I will start it off by saying he's completely right. Pep, before you got on, Mike and I were talking about the fact that Bill O'Brien was putting Jalen Milroe in positions he didn't need to be in. The plays he was calling and dialing up did not fit his skill set whatsoever. But yet he continued to push the envelope with the decisions he was making. And my gosh, it put us in horrible situations. But I'll let you tackle that call first.
Well, so is this something that's been going on all season, they feel, or is this just this game is what triggered these emotions?
It's been going on actually since last year. Yeah, Bama fans have not been particularly fond of this marriage. And, we hadn't understood any of it. And it just kind of blew up tonight. So, yeah, if you hadn't been kind of following the fire Bill O'Brien to the sun train, this is kind of a little taste of what we've been talking about for quite some time.
Okay, yeah, I'm behind on that, but I mean, I guess I can't speak to the 2-year track record of what he's been doing, disappointing Alabama fans. But to me, what I saw is, I mean, at some point, yeah, that's a lot of the plays. Some of the plays I noticed weren't really catering to Milroe's skill set, but at the same time, when you're 5 of 14 on third down, like you got to ask him to do something, so you got to call some plays to pick up some first downs on third down to convert. But to me, what I saw is just how valuable really Bryce Young was. Like, I don't think you're having these. I mean, maybe like you said, the people from last year are still complaining, or this complaint has been going on from last year. I understand, but I think if Bryce Young was in there, he's not missing some of these throws. He's converting on these third downs. He's making the right reads. Now, granted, A&M I felt like their coverage was good early on, especially, so there wasn't a lot of place to go with the ball in the beginning. But I don't think people are as outraged, because I think Bryce will, can cover up some things and make things look good with his decision making, the accuracy and stuff like that. But I didn't get that the offense looked archaic to me. I just felt like it was kind of hamstrung by who was at quarterback. This is just the outside looking in. First game I could watch from, first snap to the whistle blows. But that's what I saw. But I mean, I can't argue with it if this has been an ongoing complaint. I haven't seen enough tape. But to me, I wasn't outraged at the play calling. It was more the execution and just kind of how he was seeing the field as a passer and not, putting it where it needs to be and things like that. But to your point, to be fair, there were some instances I think some of the play calling was a little like, okay, we could have did something different here. Don't ask him to drop back and throw it deep across the middle. Get him on the move, roll him out, things like that. But it is what it is.
Well, and he came in with a billing of being this innovative genius, and he's being anything but that. And some fans who aren't really looking at X's and O's, and they're looking more so at stat sheets and what's in the win column, they're saying, well, we got to the national championship game with him. Well, not because of him. I kind of compare him to Les Miles. We got there in spite of him, not more so because of what he did. Last year, the success we had on offense was largely in part to Bryce Young, Jamison Williams, and John Mechie. And B-Rob, when they actually let him have the touches, which he wasn't given enough touches, but that's a whole nother subject. But this is kind of where we're at. Mike, do you want to speak to what the caller was talking about? I know you got a lot of amens from that based on your reactions.
I mean, nah, he was just going in, man. Buddy was on. Hey, man, you were on demon time, sir. I really ain't got too much to say, man. Too much rebuttal, I do think they have the right players on the field. I definitely think they need to have packages in for certain people, but for the fans are out there who don't know what's going on, it's a lot throwing the kid. This is SEC game. He's from Texas. So a lot of those guys he probably already known, grew up with. You got a chip on your shoulder. You got to fill some big shoes, and you still a red shirt freshman. Give him a little grace, you know. He gonna pan out. We know he's gonna shake out. But the play calling, it does, you know. But as a player, I'm sure his IQ would not allow them to dumb down the offense to fit his strengths. It's gonna take away. You're gonna feel a certain type of way naturally if the play calling is changing. And prior to him getting only 4 snaps every reps whenever we're doing individuals or whenever they're doing first team, whenever he got to get the reps. So, I mean, you throwing a kid you throwing him into the fire, man. So it's a lot, you know. Everybody don't get it on their first shot.
Yeah, you're right. You do have to kind of give them a grace period, like you said, because I've mentioned this before. Tua Tagovailoa coming off the bench with no experience, he's the exception, not the rule. So what happened with him was not going to happen with every quarterback. But I think we kind of expected it because of Tua's success. Then Mac Jones came after Tua and was able to have a great amount of success. So I think we kind of expected the same kind of thing. But, yeah, there is a learning curve. So, and he's right in the middle of it right now. But, yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to use the word dumb it down, but simplify it. You know, just do something different to where he can catch on at the right pace. Don't throw him into something that's going to put him in an inescapable disaster.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, and it happens, man. You know, jitters, man. I definitely felt, you know, the best thing. I'm glad it happened now. It didn't happen in the national championship game. It didn't happen in the, you know, SEC championship. So, and like I said, you know, we're not sure what next week gonna look like. We don't know who the quarterback gonna be. Cause I ain't sold on that Bryce gonna be the quarterback. Everybody's like, yeah, he gonna be fine. I hope so.
I hope so too. Well, we got to get to another caller. Welcome into the TDA Postgame Show. You're on live with Justin Riley, Mike McCoy, and Charlie Peprah. You would state your name, where you're calling from, leave your message, and hop off and listen. What's going on?
Hey, brothers. It's your boy, Coach Smoot. No longer in Phoenix City, I'm in Virginia, but coming with that same Bama energy. First of all, Justin, I'm sorry. You know, I don't care about nobody's feelings when it comes to my Bama squad. All you other fans keep showing up every week whining every time something go wrong. Stay your negative energy away from this chat, man. We only want real fans in the chat. Y'all talking about put Ty Simpson in. Ty Simpson go out there. This boy be having deer in the headlight looks in warm-up. This boy couldn't even play against the third-string defense in A-Day games. He struggled against the third-string defense. He has time to grow. You have a well-capable quarterback in Jalen Milroe. Yes, the boy made some bad plays. He made some bad mistakes tonight. I'm not excusing him for none of those fumbles. Protection of the football is number one priority of the quarterback. Is it not, Mike McCoy? Is it not, Justin? Is it not, Charlie? Y'all ain't got to answer. I know the answer. Yes, because I coach quarterback. I coach wide receivers. And guess what? We preach ball protection from day one. Day one. The first moment we pull out footballs in spring practice, we preach ball protection. So, Jalen Milroe, you don't get an excuse for that. But this boy's resiliency and his ability to lead a team and keep his composure is second to none in this league. You go and look at Hayes King. If Hayes King is at Alabama, he makes dumb plays trying to think he has to live up to this made up Bama standard that the media has projected. Bama standard says, "Hey, protect the football." Hayes King, if we play a more disciplined style on those last 3 drives, he doesn't get those completions. Jordan Battle, he got caught slipping a couple times on those last couple drives. If he played discipline, Hayes King throws 3 picks on the last 3 drives of the game. 3 picks. So let's kill that noise about bringing Ty Simpson in. Jalen Milroe, you didn't play a great game. I gave Jalen Milroe a C- for today. And it's only because of the ball security. If you look at his passes, when this man threw a pass, it was passes that he was comfortable with, that were there. Yes, he underthrew the Burton pass. People say, "Oh, don't throw that in the double coverage." Hey, if he let that go to the front pylon of the end zone, if that's his aiming point on that throw to Burton, that DB doesn't get that pick. That's not that underthrown pass was just literally that, an underthrown pass. He throws it to that pylon. Burton has both of those guys beat. Bryce Young makes that pass. Yes, we know that. Jalen Milroe is not Bryce Young, which leads me to the original point. Bill O'Brien did not put this man in favorable positions throughout the night. There was not once. I did not see one rollout, one flood play, one play where you're lining up the trips to the open side of the field and you're testing levels. He was sending 3 freaking seam routes, 3 fly routes up the field on 2nd and 10 when you could literally test the middle of the field. As soon as he made them crosses on the first drive of the second half, as soon as he made them crosses play, you see what happens. Ja'Cory Brooks makes the play. Jermaine Burton makes the play. Like, put this man in favorable positions. Mattress Matt made the perfect point. You don't take a quarterback who has that type of running ability, that type of athletic ability, and make them drop back and try to be a traditional quarterback. It very rarely works out, especially when you got a talented defense. Now, I'm not saying that A&M defense is top tier or anything like that, but they are talented. They have talent on that side of the field. So you put a quarterback in an uncomfortable position, you making him think more than he needs to. Jalen Hurts, he's thrived under Lane Kiffin because guess what he did? Lane Kiffin gave him one read. If you don't see it, Jalen, run. We trust your legs. And Jalen embraced that. Our offense was carried. Yeah, it got stagnant at times, but it worked. Our defense was solid. Like tonight, our defense was solid. You put Jalen in situations where he has one read, and if it's not there, take off. If that's his main priority, guess what? I believe Jalen doesn't have 3 fumbles trying to step up in the pocket like Bryce does, or make a guy miss and move, make that extra look. That's not his game. He's not there yet. And as an OC, as a coach, you have to know that about your players. If you don't know your personnel, you are going to lose every time. Luckily, we have a talented group of 5 stars, 4 stars that just go out there and can outball the man across from them. Matt, you made the exact points I was going to make, bro. And when it comes to the defense, Hugging Henry, you're not him, bro. I understand you, the choir director out there, you can make the play calls and all that stuff, but you are not him. I promise you. If we don't see Moody and Lawson out there for Tennessee, oh my God, Tennessee is going to eat up the middle of the field. I'm telling you, because Hugging Henry, yes, you smart. I appreciate that you are 4.0 GPA graduate, whatever you are, but God, I need you to tackle somebody. I need you to stop tapping people after they are like, bro. Put Hugging Henry back on the bench. Let him spot play. Just like DJ Dell. Let DJ Dell spot play him, and when he spot plays, he's effective. It's sometimes like I don't know what's up with this staff, man, with personnel. I said it last year, and I'm gonna keep on saying our issue is personnel. Why do we go away from strong personnel groupings when we're in the mix? Like we're really in the mix, and you need your best personnel out there to just play football. People that's gonna go out there and lay hits. Lawson played great tonight. I love what our corners did tonight. Battle, you got caught slipping tonight, but you made up for it with your physicality on the run support. Like we can live with that because guess what? That's what you expect in a game, in a conference game. People forget Texas A&M. They got just as much talent as Alabama. Maybe a step behind, half a step behind, but Texas A&M has talent. Hans King is not he's not a freshman quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I expected a close game if we couldn't get Milroe going early. And I said it last week, Justin, we were talking. I said it. If Bill O'Brien doesn't play to Jalen's strengths, we will play a tight game. If our defense comes out struggling, half-tailing, we will play a tight game. Defense saved us tonight. Defense came out with energy. Special teams came out with energy from the start. So you guys got it. All you talking about calling for Ty Simpson? Ty Simpson would have got out there and threw 4 or 5 picks, trying to run a pass play that Bill O'Brien set him up for. Oh, this is going to be the read, Ty. Throw it. And Ty going to do that because he feel like he has to live up to this made-up freaking standard that Coach Saban is not preach. Coach Saban says execute, make the smart play. Don't just go out there because the media is saying this is what Bama is used to doing. No, that's not that's not the team we are. And honestly, our O-line needs to be trusted way more. Our O-line is playing lights out right now. Why are we not still letting them stretch the ball to the edges? These boys are pulling and putting hat on. I mean, like, it's frustrating. I can't speak clearly because it's frustrating. I'm seeing elementary mistakes. Plays that I would call 28 toss sweep, 27 toss sweep. Mike McCoy laughing because you know what I'm talking about. But these toss sweeps, why are we not running this? We got old linemen that are really trying to put a hat on people and be physical, but you're not using them. And then you got a running quarterback that is the second or the number one, whatever. He's in the top 5 fastest players on your team. Why are you not making the defense respect it? Them safeties walked in early. Man, you still trying to make him drop back? Run the RPO. When them safeties walk down inside 10 yards, when I seen both safeties walk inside of 12 yards, 10 yards, Justin, Mike, when I see Charlie, when I seen those guys walk inside of 12 yards, and we still were trying to make Jalen drop back, 5-step drop to make a pass, no, RPO, make them safeties crash because they expecting it already. Let him hit the quick slant over top once they crash. Like, Bill O'Brien, you I don't understand. How are you a coach? Because if you're coaching at that level, I deserve a coaching job. So guess what? Mike, Justin, Charlie, I want y'all to be my references on my resume when I submit this OC application for Bama. And I want y'all to freaking sign off on it, because if Bill O'Brien could call plays like this, I can go in there and do the same thing and just rely on my players' talent. Like, this is ridiculous, man. At the end of the day, Coach Saban got it. And I get tired of him having to do it every week. Last week he did it. Bill O'Brien, we get down in the red zone. Oh, I can't remember. It was it last week we get in the red zone. He called a pass play against Arkansas. Yeah. So why? And Coach Saban bent down and talked to him. Coach Saban said, F that. I'm not letting them blow this one. We ain't blowing another one this year. And I believe this is Bill O'Brien's last season. We Coach Saban playing nice. Get this guy out to Nebraska, Utah, wherever he's gonna go, and just let it happen. And I'm sorry for taking up so much time, but I'm tired of these fair weather fans calling for these players. This coach, Bill O'Brien, is putting these players in horrible positions. We have great wide receivers. Our route concepts are horrible. Mike McCoy, tell me why we running 3 freaking fly routes and one under, which are tight end, who's not a freaking sub 4.6 40 runner. He's a strong possession receiver. He's not fast. Why are you having him run the under route when you got a speedy receiver like Kobe Prentice? You got Isaiah Bonds. You got JoJo Earl, who's healthy now. Why is he not taking the inside slot free safety or safety or linebacker that's on him? Why is he not crossing the field with him, getting that lateral speed and burning him? Why is that not happening? Guys, we are seriously in the need of a real offense coordinator that's up to date with the new style of offense. And like I said, man, I'm sorry for taking up so much time, but I had to spit it out. Roll Tide, y'all.
Roll Tide. We appreciate your passion, Coach.
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir.
Roll Tide.
Wow, Mike. You want to address that wide receiver statement?
I mean, bro,
before
we've
you
been
take
talking about.
Call.
Oh, I was gonna say, man, we've been talking about that for a minute, man. No spacing, no creativity. I haven't seen a whip route, no option routes, no combo routes. I mean, it is basic, man. Basic. I called out of flack last time. I said it looked like watching cold paint dry. Well, hey, man, this looks like watching concrete dry, man, in the wintertime. But it's no creativity, man, and it's not what the fans want to see. But when you got all these Ferraris out here, man, you got to put them on the show, man.
You
Let
right
us
on
see
that.
something. They paying you. They getting you a nice check. You know what I'm saying? You eating good. I know you got a big check over there. Hey, man, they going to get you up out of there. You better tighten up, man. Tighten up.
Well, let's take this next caller. We've had some people who have been waiting patiently here. Welcome to the show. You're on live with Justin, Mike, and Charlie. If you would, state your name, where you're calling from, and tell us what you want to talk about. If you would, hang up and listen, because you won't be able to hear Mike and Charlie. So what's going on? What's on your mind?
Okay, I got you, Justin. What's up, man? This is Lorez. I'm calling from Georgia, by the way of Montgomery, Alabama. But look here, you know, a lot of what Coach Snoop just said, I totally agree with. Bill O'Brien, you know, he's calling, you know, some pedestrian plays. He plays, you know, like you say, you running 3 receivers down the field. Okay, you challenge that safety, and then come underneath. But you coming underneath with the wrong guy. And when you did do it with Ja'Cory Brooks, that one play, it worked. And then you came back and did it with Burton. It works. You know, but then you left it alone. You stopped. Why? You got the middle of the field. Use it. He never used that middle of the field for whatever reason I do not know. So, I mean, yeah, his play calling is horrible to me. It is horrible. I sit there and I watch the game, and I get so pissed off watching Alabama go up and down the field or barely go down the field with the receivers and the players that we have on this team. You know, Texas A&M figured out what we was going to try to do, and that was run the ball. So they crowded the line.
Mm-hmm.
They put players in the gaps, and they start stopping the run. To get them out those gaps, you had to press the middle of the field. It's simple. You know, I don't know how we know this, but someone who's getting paid millions of dollars don't know this shit. I know this also. I don't understand that. I really don't. You know, and then I saw with my receivers, and it may not be on them, but I saw with the receivers, I didn't really see anyone really give me a good route where you plant that foot and you get that DB up off of you, create that separation. I didn't really see that in some of those routes that they ran. It was like we was just running out on the field, and if I had a post route, it turned into like a curve, you know, instead of a good plant, maybe a good head fake, and boom, I hit that post route, and now I'm running down the field wide open. Now I got at least 2 or 3 steps on that DB. And then what was the other point that Coach Smoot made that I really like? I can't remember. I should have wrote it down. But yeah, I'm not gonna take too much time. I'm gonna be a regular caller. I'm gonna start calling in more often because I see a lot of things. You know, I played a little college ball myself. You know, D2. I didn't make it to the big time, but I played D2, played wide receiver and free safety. So I have a little, you know, a little something. But I sit there and watch the game, and you know, it's heartbreaking that we have this awesome ass team, and we have a coach that cannot utilize the players that he has.
I got you, man.
I'm done. Hey, you guys have a great night, man.
You too. Thanks for the call. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Man, they coming with it tonight, fellas.
Yeah, they're upset. I mean, I guess I can't blame them. You know, when you think about it, they could have definitely been a little bit more dynamic with Milrose at quarterback with some of the play calling for sure. But just kind of going back, addressing some of the complaints, I think, you know, him dropping back, I think was their attempt to kind of get the safeties out of the box, you know, but you know, there were long developing plays, and maybe they don't trust him to throw across the middle. So maybe that's why there weren't too many plays drawn up where you got guys crossing the middle. Maybe they don't trust him to throw it over a linebacker's head and drop it in, you know, on dig routes if the linebacker doesn't get up out of there. I don't know. To me, it just seemed like they were trying to be real cautious with him as a passer. That's kind of the vibe I got. You know, especially when he kind of missed some throws, just trying to arm it, not stepping into throws and making some questionable decisions. But I mean, they definitely could have had a different approach with him. I'd get him on the move, just do what's working, keep running him. You know what I mean? I know it's not ideal, but hey, do what's working and do what what's effective. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like,
you know, I thought, why not change it up and, you know, run some option, just do something that just makes him feel more comfortable and that doesn't put him in any kind of dangerous position. But the thing is, the things that the passes over the middle, like the slants, they were there. like the caller said, whenever we had any kind of success with those type plays, we completely abandoned it, or Bill O'Brien completely abandoned it. And that's why we're scratching our head. If things are working, why are we deviating from it? It's round peg, square hole is what I'm seeing out there. And it's just really frustrating.
But
I agree
to be fair, I'm sorry to cut you off, Mike, but to be fair, this last point, A&M was playing good coverage in the back end for a lot of the game. He's saying the receivers weren't sticking and making hard cuts. They were getting beat up early on. I felt that they had good coverage. But, yeah, I'm used to seeing more explosive plays out of the wide receivers.
No, I agree with Charlie 1,000% when he was saying about the across the middle. Maybe they're not comfortable with seeing what he can do. Now, we know he can throw a deep ball, and I know he can throw these little, 10 to 12 yards, but what can you do 20 to 35 yards in? That's like basketball developing a mid-range. When you got a mid-range, you are a complete player then. And they may not trust him to get the ball in the little tight windows, man. Like you said, throwing over that linebacker's head. Now, when he did complete it, it was 12 to 15 yards, man. That's his comfort range, or he just gonna have to blow the top off. And we talking about sticking. They ain't calling no plays to be creative. I mean, they just throwing whenever he's throwing go routes. It's a foot race then, man. Yeah. So, that goes back down to the drawing board. We know the receivers, all those receivers there are capable of getting in and out of breaks. They running with them coaches telling them to run.
Well, I'm going to take one more call, guys. Welcome into the show. You're on live with Justin Riley, Mike McCoy, and Charlie Peprah. If you would, state your name, where you're calling from, and tell us what's on your mind, and hang up and listen so that you can hear Mike and Charlie's response. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Justin? This is SPA Huntsville calling you from Madison, Alabama.
What's up, brother?
Hey, with you guys. Nothing much, man. How you doing, man?
My heart rate's coming down a lot better now. So
yeah, me and you
there.
both, brother. Me and you both, man. Just got off the phone with a couple of guys I used to coach high school ball with, man. I wanted to go real quick few points, and I'll hang up and listen to Mike and Charlie and get their insight. I know it's and I mean, from the outset for me, I noticed Jalen really didn't have confidence. I mean, he did. If you look at the way he was throwing the ball, the young man wasn't throwing with no confidence at all. He was being very cautious. You see that I've seen that in a lot of young quarterbacks. The young man didn't really have any confidence, and that may be due to play calling, that may be due to just the sheer butterflies of playing at home for the first time, starting. It's like with me, man, when I look at Bill O'Brien, he has no script. He has no script whatsoever. The thing that made Sark so great is Sark used to scheme the formation. He didn't care about what your tendencies was on defense. He was scheming the formation, man. Pre-snap motion, things of that nature, man. We ran no screens for Jalen, no easy throws from the giddy up. I just didn't understand. It's like it was no script whatsoever. All he kept doing is running inside, outside zone, zone read to the boundary over and over and over. And I just didn't understand. I noticed when early in the game, when Jalen would take his 3 and 5 step drop, when he would plant that back foot, the first thing his eyes would do was come away from downfield and look at the pass rush. You saw that over and over again, man, as all young quarterbacks do. But he did it frequently. It's like as soon as that young man's back foot plant, he almost took his eyes down. You could tell they talked to him about that because the second half he did better by looking down, giving himself an opportunity to look downfield. I didn't understand why they kept running the same zone read plays to the boundary over and over and over. They actually had some success on the shallow crossing routes. He hit a few of those, like more than once or twice. But they went away from it, man. They went away from it. I noticed one time they ran a high-low, and he got confused. We had Burton coming across on the underneath, and he was wide open, man. And it's like he panicked and just took off running, just like a young quarterback, man. They didn't really put him in I will agree with the guys. They didn't really do a lot of plays to, let him get his feet wet and get him some confidence up, man. And after those 2 fumbles, you really got to calm a young quarterback down because he'll beat himself up. He'll beat himself up, man. So I do think that Bill O'Brien takes a lot of the brunt. He will have to take a lot of the brunt of that, you know what I mean? But I will say, I'm going to keep it real. Let's keep it real, man. I'm not a Jalen Powler owner, if you know what I mean. I know how it is to coach up a young quarterback, but at the same time, this is Bama. If you have a slant route, coming in the safety, and you get depth on the safeties, they down in the box, and you get depth, and there's nothing but green in front of you, you got to be able to hit that, man. You can't overthrow everybody twice. You can't do that. You got to put it on him. For that, that's something the young man going to have to work on, you know what I mean? Because you don't get those a lot in a game like that. You don't get those a lot, man. But I will end with this. I think our secondary played well, but I'll say this, I hadn't seen a team challenge our secondary since Quinn Ewers at Texas, you know what I mean? And if you watch Texas from today, that's the Texas team that we played with Quinn Ewers. With Quinn Ewers, that's a totally different offense over there, man. And this team, Tennessee, they have a quarterback that will test us vertically. I personally think the last few teams we played weren't capable of testing us vertically. This team will test us vertically. They're physical up front, and they're going to try to run 80-plus plays to exhaust our defense. This team will challenge us downfield big time. If you don't think they watched that film, if I was playing against Bama, I would challenge them downfield. So this team would throw the ball deep on us, probably more than Texas did. So hopefully we can clean this stuff up, man, and get Bryce back and, get this ball back rolling, man. I appreciate you taking my call.
Yes, sir.
What's up to Mike McCoy and Charlie? Saying what's up to you guys, man. I'll hang up and listen. As always, roll tide, brother.
Roll tide. Thanks for the call. All right, fellas. What are your thoughts on his call? We'll talk on that, and then we'll start to close up shop.
I mean, can't argue with people after a while. I mean, everybody's kind of seeing the same things. But yeah, I mean, I just think, the passing game, everything that he saw, the lack of confidence, I just don't think he, at the moment, is a great passer from what I saw. And that's part of the problem. Play calling, whatever. You can only ask him to do so much. But, I mean, he can get better. He's young. He's got all the tools. He's got to learn to have different pitches, so to speak, not just throw fastballs, and maybe they'll trust him to throw over middle. I think the one time they had it might have been a post or a dig. He threw it high, or I think it was a deep post. His mechanics are kind of all over the place. He threw it high. It was the out route they got picked off. He just had to do it with his arm. Or did he? Maybe he just missed the throw, but I can't remember if he picked it up or not. But he didn't step into it, just kind of threw it all, or just armed it out there. And that'll make the offense look bad. I'm not trying to speak or trying to save Bill O'Brien, but again, Bryce Young is in there. They still might complain about Bill O'Brien, but I think it's a totally different taste in your mouth. And hopefully we get him back next week.
Absolutely.
This is a team you can't make mistakes on and
not at all
hang on like that.
Mike, I'll let you close up with that, and then we'll move on to our closing segment.
Man, I agree with Coach wholeheartedly, pretty much about what he said as far as the confidence the kid had. I think he didn't. I don't think he had the most confidence. Could have been play calling, could just been in a belief system. But we are used to seeing a Tom Brady cool quarterback back there. And Milroe is a Lamar Jackson type of player. He's a dynamic player.
Yeah.
So we got to fit into that scheme. Like Buddy said, we got to do the RPOs, throw the ball in space, some combo routes, and shit. Do the shit again. I didn't mean to cuss.
Post-game show, man. You're good.
Yeah.
It's 11:40. Kids asleep.
Yeah. This is Bama After Dark.
Okay. Well, the same shit that got him to Alabama should be the same shit he's doing to stay at Alabama.
Right.
It's that simple. Why'd you recruit him? You recruited him for some reason. You like something about him. Let him be him. Mm-hmm. Don't make him nobody else. Don't change his jump shot, man.
Nope. You're right. I love it. All right, it's time for you to do what you do best. Name your lap dogs and your pit bulls. Who do you got for each category? I know you've been thinking about it. So what you got?
Hey man, we know Bob is the lap dog, man. Bob is the lap dog today, man. He on the porch today. Pit bull puppies, man. I think the O line has been playing well, man. You got to go to them, and then I'm giving it to Gibbs, and Will Anderson, of course. I mean, and Turner, man. Those outside linebackers are serious, bro. So those are my pit bulls, puppies, and my lap dogs, man. Sorry, Bob.
Well, Charlie, I'll let you name your two players of the game, the offense and the defense. Who did you have based on what you saw tonight?
I mean, you got to go with Gibbs for sure. I'm glad we ended on a positive note. All this negativity. Let's talk about the good players.
Yes,
I mean,
right.
I mean, Gibbs. He's a special player, man. He's always making explosive gains, chunk plays, positive plays. He's dynamic, man. It's funny. I think I heard him say his favorite player to watch is Christian McCaffrey, but he plays just like Alvin Kamara. Yeah, he looks like Alvin Kamara to me. His game is similar. He can run. I really like him, and I think he played well. And Will Anderson too, even though he might not have lit it up in the stat sheet. I mean, he was affecting the passer the whole game. And number 47 too, I think on the slick. He had some plays in there that allowed those other guys to get free. Yeah, and he would show some strong hands and bending guys back and making some plays, getting off the ball quick and allowing some of those stunts to develop. And number 10 as well. He didn't have a huge game, but his effort is great to see, and it jumps off tape. He's running around everywhere. Let's see, the lap dog.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna go with the kicker, man. Missing 2 field goals. You can't do that. You gotta nail them. You play for Alabama. Like those are. I know one was from like 40 something yards, but you got to hit those. We need them. We need them.
Absolutely. Hey, and he normally does. I mean, he's normally just automatic. You trot him out there, go ahead and tack that 3. We're good. But tonight, it's like Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. But the main point of the whole story is we got the W. So we survived, and now it's on to Tennessee. Well, folks, in the chat, thank you so much for staying with us tonight. All your comments, all your passionate ideas, man, and the calls. Thank y'all for calling in. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Charlie, for sticking with us this late at night. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, me too.
Good
Roll
night,
Tide, folks.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
All right.
All right.